Samuel John Peploe, 1871 to 1935, is one of the four artists who came to be known as the Scottish colourists, along with F.C.B. Cadell, J.D. Ferguson and G.L. Hunter. The label colourist was coined later on in those four careers, long after their work had become influenced by the Fauvist movement. But I'd always been taken with the use Peploe made of white during his earlier Impressionist phase. He never shied away from it, particularly in his early portraits and still life compositions. In later years, he even seemed to actively embrace it in his landscapes, and in particular those Hebridean beach scenes he painted so well with his colourist collaborator Cadell. But it was back when Peploe had moved into a new studio in Edinburgh's York Place in 1905 that he began in earnest to paint in a lighter key on larger canvases, employing a looser technique than he had done previously. He soon embarked on a remarkable series of figure studies of a girl in white, often using the same sitter, Peggy McCrae. McCrae was a popular model with Peploe's Edinburgh contemporaries. A part of Peploe's technique, particularly when he was painting portraits or still lifes, was to set up his composition, painstakingly arranging and rearranging and only committing paint to canvas when he was absolutely ready. Not for him the struggle and the working out of things on the canvas that so many other artists are familiar with. Once he started, he would then paint very quickly, believing that the essence of the work was to capture the scene in a single sitting. You can see that he's employed this technique in The Girl in White. Every time I look at the painting, I'm struck by the lavish impasto brushstrokes. In this phase of his career, Peploe delighted in this painterly approach, and I think it shows his mastery. Single, loaded brushstrokes make up most of the composition. You can imagine the whole painting would have been completed in a matter of minutes. That's why I love this painting so much. And of course, white is very rarely, if ever, pure white. Samuel Peploe's fellow colourist J.D. Ferguson had this to say of his dear friend. In his paintings, Peploe always sought to achieve a severe synthesis, to express the character of things with the greatest economy of means. But Peploe's painting was always evolving, and for a while he would be heavily influenced by the fauves, the so-called wild beasts. The pale greys and whites of his paintings would be replaced by more vibrant colours, but he would later return to a more tonal approach. For him, painting was an unceasing quest to understand fundamental form. And now, in my own adventures as a painter, I was curious to try and match Peploe's style as it was in the early 1900s. In 2013, I was able to persuade my own Peggy McCrae to pose for me in my Spanish apartment as I made an attempt at recreating The Girl in White. I singularly failed to emulate Peploe's impasto strokes, though I was working in acrylics and not oils. It was an interesting and fun experiment though, and did give me some first-hand insight into Peploe's mastery. But perhaps the man himself said it all when referring to his craft. I can never see mystery coming to an end.